Hi everyone, here we are with my good friend Tom. Here, mate.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. We're on our second episode of the Hammond playlist, and just so everybody knows, this is perhaps the first time they're watching it. A customer wrote in and said, "Love the videos. Why don't you do? Could you be a mod band if you had a Hammond?" And so we decided to expand on that, and basically we're putting together a playlist of what we believe to be really cool Hammond tunes. And tonight we've got two big, well, not a big one against, well, I don't know. Let's throw it up. Let's have pick 01. Well, no, so what we're doing is Ultimate Hammond Checklist. So that's what we're doing. So let's move on to the next one. Tonight we are arguing about Yeh Yeh, Georgie Fame, against the monster tune that is Green Onions by Booket. So that's the two that we're pitching it against. And just to give you a little bit behind, and then we'll get on with arguing it. Green Onions is obviously a massive tune, and we're trying to get them to be at the same time. So when they came out, Yeh Yeh and Green Onions were out at the same time. And if you were dancing in a club at that time, you probably were dancing to both songs. So subsequent episodes of this will also follow on like that. I've bammed it on a bit, but you understand what I'm getting at. So, Yeh Yeh by Georgie Fame. I like it. I'm going to try and argue for it, Tom. Do you want me to argue for it?
I mean, yeah, like, aside from just a great tune, one of the coolest kind of people ever to exist, I think, especially in the 60s. That cover you just showed then, Live at the Flamingo, like, Rhythm and Blues at the Flamingo, like, that jacket he's wearing is, I'd love that jacket. I'd love to own that jacket. It's such like a Ivy look, isn't it? And it's kind of just encapsulates that early mod look, I think.
It does. I mean, I was listening to a thing with him earlier, and he was talking about playing at the Flamingo. Do you know that they did the all-nighter session, which is quite well known, but they did from 12 till 6 in the morning. After they'd been and done another gig already. Do you know what I mean? So
I complain about DJing from 11 till 3, let alone 12 till 6. I don't know if I could do that. Especially if you're the singer as well. He must have been flat out by the end of it, mustn't he?
Yeah. I suspect there've been a lot of what I call lazy songs. You know, some and a lot of instrumentals.
And a lot of something else, probably. I thought you were going to say.
No, I wasn't going to mention that. At the time, I would argue, I've been told by several people from that time, that album, Live at the Flamingo, absolute killer song, blah, 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 all of the things, you know, it was a proper mod album to have. So now, any other things we can think about with Georgie Fame other than being a very good pedigree and playing lots of all-nighters?
I think is what he did really well. He took the best bits from kind of all these American musicians, like kind of Mose Allison. He covered a lot of his songs, and also kind of his vocal style is very similar as well. And I mean, even that cover there, Live at the Flamingo, looks a bit like a Blue Note cover. You can tell that he's thought, I like that bit, and put it all together, which is a kind of a very mod thing to do, isn't it? That's a very mod kind of ethic, and I think he definitely did that really well down to the beat.
Yeah, I think he's more pedigree on that. In terms of the Hammond on that song, you know, we were talking about this, and what we're going to go on to next is Green Onions. It was trying to think of something to pitch against Green Onions that was well known. And, you know, and that's a well-known song is Yeh Yeh. It's a good one. My dad had it, you know, I've got it. With whether the organ's particularly loud in it is arguable, isn't it? But it's a great song, you know, and I think very of its time.
The best, like, kind of Hammond songs are the ones that are almost, like, stripped back enough so the Hammond plays a pivotal part in it. And Yeh Yeh is kind of like, it sounds like, not that kind of not a lot of energy's been put into it, but that's kind of why it's great, isn't it? It's kind of on the nose and a bit kind of, it's subtle. And Yeh Yeh definitely kind of is that for me, I think.
So let's pitch it against, we're going to put out the front, we're pitching it against Green Onions, which I think is going to be on the screen now. Booker T and the MGs, it's a great song. I mean, I remember hearing it when I was very young. When did you first hear it, Tom?
No idea. I think it's one of them, it's just always with you, isn't it? It's like, obviously it's not a British tune, but there's something very kind of British about it, I think. And I think it's just because the way it was adopted back in the 60s, it became so synonymous with kind of British clubs. It's, I'd say it's like an honorary British tune almost. And I think what I particularly love about it, it's kind of like an old jazz, it's like a jazz kind of song with a bit of rock and roll infliction on there. You've got a Fender Telecaster on there which just takes it into a total opposite direction and makes it into this amazing kind of R&B number.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Tom. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, when you learn, I mean, it was one of the first things I ever learned to play on the bass, and it's kind of sort of free finger thing. But it's easy to learn. It's hard to do well. And it can be quite a thing. I think the simple da 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 da. You know, I mean, how many? It's like you see people play air guitar, and on that you definitely see people playing air keyboard.
There's a really good video I recommend for people to watch after this. Watch this one to the end first. But there's a thing on YouTube called Tiny Desk Sessions, where it's kind of like a shop in America. I think it's a music shop. And tiny little place, but they invite all these musicians, like big names, to come in and just play their well-known songs or do a little set. And they get Booket in. And it's just him on his own without his band. And he plays Green Onions on the organ. And it shows the power of that song, how he just holds the whole room. And I think anyone else kind of playing kind of keyboard or Hammond organ on their own, a song, no one would be bothered. But because it's him and the way he's playing it, he just holds that room, I think. You should go and check that out. It's really cool.
So let's throw the versus picture up again. So I'm Tom. What are you putting in? Are you putting Green Onions or Yeh Yeh on the Hammond list?
I mean, I love Georgie Fame. He's one of my favourite people ever, but I'd have to say Green Onions just because of its impact and its Booker T. How can it's got to be every time, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know I want to argue for the other one for Yeh Yeh. I don't think you'd get away with not having Green Onions, but it's not about. So let's get back to the cameras and let's get what the audience thinks. So what we're going to do. It doesn't matter what we think, it's what you think. So wherever you're watching this, put something below. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is you're happening to watch this, put your comments below and we will jot them up somewhere towards Christmas, and then we're going to make that ultimate Hammond playlist. Can I thank Tom for joining me? And can I thank... Yeah, good man. Sorry. And thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this and you like these style of videos, hundreds more on www.modtunes.co.uk.